What's going on? All right. Yeah, so I was thinking I would try something new here and I'm already doing the podcast and I figured why not just put the camera up there and go live on Instagram. It's my first Instagram live, so how's it look so far? I don't know. I got all this shit behind me. Weird. Yeah, so I wanted to talk today about what's up? How's it going? I'm good. How are you? I wanted to talk today about stage production, like ways to make the stage look better, ways to make your show more exciting. And there's a lot you can do for, it doesn't have to be super expensive. You just got to be creative. And I mean, some of you have heard the stories about like bands like Guar, where they have like blood, like they throw blood on their fans, and like shit gets really crazy. And my band doesn't do anything like that, but I just wanted something like, everybody loves a good light show, I think. And I thought, how do we get a good light show with like no crew? We don't have a light guy or a light girl. We don't bring a light designer with us on the road. We don't have enough room in the van. So like trying to figure out how we can make this work on a small budget or no budget, and like nobody there to actually kind of make it happen. So years ago, I think it was 2014, we decided to, when I started really thinking about this, I looked up how to create ego risers. Basically, we call them light boxes. And basically it's, and if you've been to the Ballyhoo shows, you've seen them. We stand up on them. We put them at the front of the stage. There's two of them, and they're like, I don't know, like a foot tall, maybe a little taller. And we just stand on them, and we put a trigger in there, and with our heel we can trigger it on and off, and it blasts this light up. It looks epic. It looks super epic, and that alone made it. Just took the show up. It just made the quality go up. It's like suddenly it got more exciting. Like even now, like we've been doing this 5 years now with the light boxes. We'll get up there and people, you're like right there in their faces. And, we play a lot of intimate clubs. And even on big stages, they look good, the light just, when it blasts up from underneath you, it just makes you look very like statuesque and iconic. And so it was like an easy way to really help up the production value of the show. And it wasn't expensive at all. I think it was maybe $100 to create both of them. And basically it's just a floodlight, and it mounts to you create this frame, which is just wooden frame, these panels, and you stick them together to create a box. And then you get this little floodlight from like Home Depot, and you can get a little trigger button. We have a tiny little trigger button there that you wire up to the light, and you mount it to one of the corners of the light box. And I'll try to find the actual tutorial that we used, and I'll link it in the bio there. I'll link it in the description. But it was relatively easy, and it was cheap. Then you just get some plexiglass, you lay it on top, and you screw it down. You don't want to screw it down too tight. You want to have some sort of a gap in there, and you can use like maybe even like a foam or rubber gasket along the top where the glass is going to sit. And basically you just create a little gap between the glass and the button. And then when you step on it, you just use your heel and press down, and it creates this it triggers the light, and you get this light shooting up, and it's a very, very cool effect. So that's one thing you can do. And you can think of other ways to do it. Like I think in my mind we were talking about like the Billie Jean video by Michael Jackson, where he's walking down the sidewalk and it's just lighting up as he's walking. That was probably mind blowing back then. Anyway, so that was one thing that really helped to take the production value up for the show. And then, there we tried other things. Like I got confetti cannons, so I wanted to like blast people with confetti, and the ones that we got weren't that good. We didn't really have a budget, and being like an independent band, it was hard to like justify paying a couple $100 a piece for some decent ones, But what I have learned is that when it comes to the show and the overall, like how you want to be perceived and the sort of like the show you want to put on, you want to spend the money to make it look good. Like we definitely like, again, we had basically no budget back in the day. And, for Halloween, like we did our Halloween show this past weekend, and I wanted to spend a significant amount of money. I think we spent like $2,000 or something, or $2,500 on everything, which is significant. It's a lot of money. But I know a couple of years ago that we wouldn't have thought to do anything like that. I wanted to do something like that, but we couldn't actually afford it. I couldn't justify it. So I'm like trying to bargain shop and find things that look cool, but then you get it in the mail and it's like not as big as you thought it was going to be. And even when like you look at the specs, like a lot of like Amazon like stuff now, you'll see the specs and it'll they'll have it listed like the size, but it won't be, I don't know, it's just not the way you pictured it. And I didn't want to have that again. Like I wanted to make sure that this show this time just looked off the chain. Like I got these LED palm trees, which I think I'm going to put in here because I can't let them go to waste. They're too awesome. They looked great. They're 7 feet tall, and they just look so rad up on the stage. I picked up those are like $100 a piece, I think. And then I picked up some tiki bulbs, the little globe ones, and they were 25 feet in length. I got 4 of those and kind of strung them across in kind of a neat way. And I bought these skeletons from Party City, and ended up, I wanted to make them look cooler. So like, I mean, they already looked pretty cool, like with the, as a skeleton, they're like posable, but I just knew that I wanted to do something different with them. And I'm the type of person like where I can't really, like a template doesn't really work for me. Like something that like, I remember when I used to do websites back in the day, like I was always trying to come up with cool ideas for website. Now I would go and like when Flash was the big thing, I would have like I'd download like the templates, and then I would just plug in the information and like any pictures and stuff like that of the band. And it looked too corporate and businessy, and like it just didn't look like a rock band website. And I find that with everything that I do, like it just, I guess deep down, I don't want to necessarily look or sound like something else. I don't want it to be like a cookie cutter thing, which has kind of been my whole approach to life. Like just not wanting to be a part of like the norm and kind of make my own path. The same goes with the the music and the production value on stage. So I digress. I got these skeletons from Party City and they looked cool, but I thought we could make them look cooler. So I looked up like how to make a dead body, and there was a lot of cool tutorials on there. And if you look up corpsing a skeleton, you'll find a lot of very cool tutorials, and they're rather easy, and a lot of them are the same thing. Like I got a heat gun from Home Depot. I got some drop plastic, and there was only like a couple bucks a piece for those. They were like 9 by 5 or 9 by 7 or something like that. It's like $2 for one of them. So I got 2 of those, and I just wrapped the skeletons. I basically shrink wrapped them. I used the heat gun to adhere the plastic around, onto the skeleton. And what's cool is like the more I kind of did it, the more I learned. Like if you kind of double and triple bag it, you can kind of create these lines like in the face or like across the neck or the chest, like makes it look like sinew or like wrinkles. I wanted it to look like rotting flesh, like decomposition. And so got through with that, and they looked cool. You could see what was happening, but I knew that they need to be painted. And some of the stuff that I saw on YouTube were people were using like stain, like wood stain, which is kind of like an orange, reddish, brownish kind of color, like a rusty kind of color, I guess. And I wasn't going so much for like the charred body, but I was going more for like a decomposing, rotting flesh kind of look. So I picked like a primer gray. I grabbed some black, and I grabbed some like camouflage, like the kind of olive green camouflage spray paint. And so I went over them with the gray on both sides all around. I tried to hit everything I could, lifting up the legs and spraying and doing the arms and the hands and stuff. And then I kind of used the green to kind of get a little, I don't know, discoloration and just make it look even like weirder and grosser. And then I probably could use some blue. But then I hit the black. I did the eyes and the insides of the mouth, and then sort of like under the arms and maybe across the rib cage and like the back and stuff. Well, anyway, when they were done, they looked really rad, and I had them sitting in my house, and they looked really creepy. But then I dressed them for the show, and just like, some hats, and one of them was wearing a pacifier tank top, and the other guy's wearing like a palm tree shirt, and they're wearing board shorts. And they looked even creepier once I did that. It was definitely interesting. So then what I did was I had this idea for I wanted to do something with the stage, because in the past we've like made our Halloween shows. We had to get really creative. Like I said, we didn't have much of a budget. So one year we did Pirates of the Inner Harbor. And we do it in the Baltimore area, so it's downtown, so it's like right there at the Inner Harbor. So it was Pirates of the Inner Harbor, and we turned the stage into a pirate ship. And still probably my favorite out of all the set designs, minus this weekend. I was like really proud of this weekend. I thought it looked very cool, like a beach party, which was like the theme. But yeah, so we made the whole front of the stage look like a pirate ship. It was all cut down, and just it was wild. And then for the stage itself, like to get deeper, like next to the drum kit, we put a crow's nest with a skeleton up there. And so for this time, this show, I created a campfire. And if you check my Instagram story from last week, I saved it as a highlight there. You can go on my account, Howi Spangler, and look and watch. But I put a campfire up there, and basically put the skeletons in beach chairs sitting around the campfire, and just looks so cool. And then I used these uplights from Ambient Force to create the candle flicker effect, to make it look like they were actually in front of a fire. So kind of breaking it down, what I did was I ordered, I think it was 48 pieces of styrofoam blocks, and they're all different sizes. There's like 3 different sizes altogether. Some long ones, some shorter ones, and they're all about that thick. And got 2 pieces of that poster board, that's like the foamy poster board, that kind of like a half-inch thick or whatever it was. 2 black pieces of that, taped them together, and then kind of laid them out, and stacked them in a way that you would like a fire pit with like stones you find on the ground. And so I did that, and then I used a spray adhesive. And the spray adhesive I used, it was I can't remember the brand, but it was a 77 was the number on it. I guess that maybe is intensity or something, or how good it holds. The adhesive was actually eating through the styrofoam. So I learned that I need to, next time I do that, I'm going to find something that hopefully won't eat the styrofoam, or maybe find a better solution than styrofoam. And this was the kind that falls apart. It's like the pieces go everywhere. So that was kind of weird. It'd be nice to find something a little more that doesn't fall apart. But anyway, stacked those up, got the adhesive on there, got them all together, and then I hit it with spray paint, just like the primer, a little bit of black. And then if I feel like I did too much shading with the black, I just hit it again with the primer. And ended up with this really cool looking rock wall. And then I got some cardboard and created 3 logs, and I spray painted those up to kind of look burnt. And then I found some fabric from Walmart actually, and I don't know it's that kind of, I can't explain it. It's like it's very light. You can see through it. They use it for like tutus and stuff. Anyway, it was orange, but it had like glitter all in it. So my whole kitchen looked like I had like a stripper party or something. It was just glitter everywhere, and I was covered in glitter. So I wrapped that around the logs. That I kind of did it in like a triangular formation like this. Wrapped it around the logs, and put a fan underneath to kind of blow the fabric up, and it worked. It didn't work that well. Like it wasn't that powerful of a fan. It was just one of those tiny little $14 like black plastic fans you get from Walmart. But it had the ends kind of going a little bit, which was nice. And I had to kind of trim it down so the fabric wasn't as heavy to kind of get the wind there. And then topped it off with the ambient force uplights, which I'm using right now as see that right there in that light? Yeah, that's an ambient force uplight shooting at me to get this sort of like, to light it up. It's kind of dark in here. So anyway, put that on stage with the skeleton sitting around it, kicked the dude's legs up on it, got the palm trees and did the lights, the light bulbs and everything, and had like this hanging cocooned spider web guy upside down. It looked pretty freaky. It was like, I think 72 inches long or something like that, and got that from Amazon. And we had a good looking stage, and then to really top it off. So years ago, we went on tour with Less Than Jake, and that band's awesome. If you don't know who they are, check them out. They're from Florida, Gainesville. Really fun band live. They say the funniest shit live. One of the funniest bands I've ever met, and very fun to watch. And they were doing the things with the confetti cannons, and they had geysers. You'd just be standing there watching the show, and then this smoke would come flying up at like these epic parts of the songs. And I was instantly just like, how do I get that? Where do I sign up for this? I ended up chatting with JR, their sax player, and I was like, bro, I really need to know, like, where did you guys get, like, they have these really cool ideas for a stage design. Like they have like dummy cabs with the logo for the tour and stuff all over them, and they use like uplights to shine on the cabs when the lights go out on stage, so they're still lit up. And they just really care. They really think about their show, and I appreciated that. So I had to ask him, and JR was like, dude, I don't care. I'll tell you exactly where to go. Like he wasn't worried about like keeping it secret, all the tips, he's a good dude. He's like, yeah, you can steal whatever you want, And so I thought that was nice. So in 2017, I finally was like, all right, yo, we got to get these geysers. We got to, like, it's another thing to help the show make it look good and all that. And the guys agreed. And so I got these, I think I got them from Sweetwater. It was it was Sweetwater. It was the Chauvet DJ T6 geyser. I got 2 of them, and you have to get the get the QDF, the quick dissipating foam, no, quick dissipating haze. Sorry, basically like it goes up and then it's just dissipates. It goes away very quickly, as the name says. But as opposed to like having like a long-standing haze in the room, like you don't want to get too smoky, because we use them a lot in the set for like guitar solos and like when the songs are really escalating and just, you know, when we want the crowd to go crazy. So started using those, and that was another thing that took the vibe up. It took the whole value up. I hear it every night still, are people just screaming like when they get set off at the right time. And our tour manager's over there in the corner just like hitting the remote button to trigger those, which that was great, because again, like I said before, we're looking for solutions that allow for like one person to do it, or you know, sometimes nobody. Like I was using these lights for a while, the up lights, the ambient force lights. They have a setting where they change with the beat. So every time the beat happens, they change colors. So things like that, things that are automated, and you know, you can go crazy with it too. Like you can automate it to like Pro Tools sessions and things like that, but we're not quite there yet. So yeah, tour managers over in the corner just like triggering the geysers, and then we've got the light boxes that we step on, shoots the light up, and then when you do this at the same time, it's just holy shit, what happened? You know, it's just I don't know. We just want the people out there to have a good time and see something cool, and like I think there is something to be said about just a band going up there, drums, bass, guitar, keys, singer, whatever, and on like a bare bones stage and just rocking the fuck out. Like I totally get that, and that can be very special. But I don't know, I see it as like a show is an escape for people, and the fact that they're coming to see us in the first place is just amazing to me. But I think they paid money, and I think they should see a cool show if we can help it. The best show that they could go to. You know, I want to be like the best live band. You know, that's the goal. And so these geysers and these light boxes, and then, you know, doing the Halloween show and going all out for that and spending the money to make it look good. It's going to show. Like, people aren't necessarily going to notice if you don't have any of this stuff, right? They won't be like, I wish they had geysers and light boxes and cool shit going on and confetti cannons. They're not going to say that, right? But if you do have it, they will take notice, and they'll be like, holy shit, that's awesome. Not to mention that the photos and videos look very, very cool. So if you're at all thinking about it, and it doesn't have to be the things that I'm talking about, get creative. Think of something else that you can do. You know, you can get like LED strips now, like Amazon or eBay or something, and you can cut them down to whatever shape or size you want, and you can create your own LED strips, and they change color and things like that. There's plenty of ways to make the show look rad. And about the geysers too, I recently, the T6s are nice. They're like this big. They're nice, but the plume is kind of small. It's a decent size for like if you're doing like smaller rooms, which I'd say like any like baby bands out there, like it's gonna look good. It'll look cool. But I knew that like I wanted to go bigger. I wanted the ones at less than JCAV, and I'm pretty sure they have the P7s, which is the ones that I bought recently. I bought 4 of the P7s. They go for like $429 a piece right now at Sweetwater. But if you buy through Sweetwater, you get that 2-year warranty. So that's always a good move. Anyway, so the P7s, also about the P7s, between the P7 and the T6. The T6 is you press the button and you can let off and it'll just keep going. Like I don't know if it sprays for like 8 or 10 seconds or something like that. But with the P7s, if you hold the button down, it fires up, and then when you let go, it stops. And I wanted more control. And with the P7, I got that. And for a while, for a run of shows, we had, I think the last tour we just did, I had the T6, two T6s and two P7s. And I noticed it right away. He's over there holding the button. He lets go. The P7s stop, and then the T6s keep going. And it just, to me, it didn't look right. Like, it needs to be in sync with each other. So we ended up getting two more P7s, and now we have all that control. And the P7s also have a two-tone. They got two sets of LEDs on them, so there's a two-tone effect. You can get like an orange and a yellow and like a blue and a pink or red. Like there's a lot of different color combinations, and it looks even cooler. And you can also make it so it's the colors are off and it's just the smoke. So it's just this big plume of smoke. Lots of cool applications. Also, you can turn them on their side. You can shoot them sideways. You can kind of shoot them at an angle. They come with mounting brackets, so you can mount them upside down and shoot downwards onto the stage. So we haven't gotten that far yet, but yeah, very, very cool. So that's what our stage is right now. And I say, again, I understand that money obviously is a big factor, and you don't want to break the bank. That's for sure. That's why I say get creative. It was about $100 to create both of those light boxes, and they're a good size, and they just really make things look so cool and different. But you, if you're gonna go for something, you know, I'd spend the money to make it look good. Cry now, don't cry later, kind of thing. Like, you know, I wish we had gotten the P7s a couple years ago, so we didn't have to spend the money again to get the P7s. You know what I mean? Like, but again, it's whatever your situation is. Just make it work with what's best for you. So I think the whole point of this was just to say that think about ways that you can make your show better all the time. Because again, people, they won't necessarily notice if you're not doing it, but they will absolutely notice when you are doing it. And it shows that you care. It shows that you want to have, you want them to have the best experience possible. So I don't know. I guess that's it really. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I tend to do that when it's just me talking and I'm not interviewing someone. But if you have any questions, hit me up. Hit me up in the comments below. Let me know. And I'll put these links in here for the stuff that we have. If you're looking to up your performance, make your show look better, and then hit me in the DMs over at Instagram. Howi Spangler, and make sure you subscribe to Tales from the Green Room podcast. We've got 88 episodes. This is episode 88 right now. So a lot of great interviews with some artist friends of mine and more like that. Oh, look at this. I turned the chat on for this YouTube thing, and it's kind of distracting, but I will answer that. Yeah, so I will not have any production at the acoustic shows. It's just gonna be me and acoustic guitar. It'd be rad to maybe do something in the future, but I gotta think hard about that. I don't know. It'd be really funny though, right? To make it look like a rock show, like with smoke and lights and, you know, stuff like that while I'm playing acoustic. Yeah, but let me know in the comments what you think, and subscribe to the YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, and subscribe to the Tales from the Green Room podcast. All right, well, take it easy. This was my first broadcast, my first live on YouTube. Let me know what you thought. Word, everybody have a great day. This is Howi Spangler, Tales from the Green Room.